Greetings and salutations, YouTube. This is Fragments of Memory, your friendly neighborhood armchair philosopher. By the time you see this video, it will be the year 2012. I trust that this new year will be better for you in as many possible ways as it can be. I trust that you were able to spend this time with those you love and with those that loved you back. If you were able to do so, give yourself a pat on the back and smile. If you were not, for whatever reason, my sympathies go with you. I say this because I understand what it means to be lonely, especially around holidays like Christmas, New Year's, and Valentine's Day. I can recall many a New Year's Eve get-together, where although I was in the company of friends, I was a single, unattached person in the presence of people who were married or in a relationship. As one year rolled into the next, hugs and kisses were shared by the lovers, while I sat on the sidelines being painfully aware of my single with no prospect status. The holidays can be a time of joy or a time of sorrow, depending on where you stand. If you are single, most likely this time of year is a time of torture. The smiles, embraces, and merriment are a mockery. It is another reminder that you have no one, and quite possibly no one wants you. There is even the fear that you might die alone. These feelings may even lead to one becoming desperate. Desperation, however, repels others from you. It does not attract them, nor endear them to you. This, of course, only sends someone plunging deeper into despair. Writer Harlan Ellison explored this phenomenon in his essay, True Love, Groping for the Holy Grail. Ellison writes, "We are, remember, close to the veldt and the jungle. We can smell desperation on each other. We can smell the loser. It shines out of the eyes, it permeates our sweat, it reveals itself subliminally in the body language we employ all unknowingly. And the more rejections we get, the worse gets the desperation, and the cycle continues. The same in love. Have you ever noticed, when you're in love, or getting laid regularly, or content with your current situation, potential lovers come out of the woodwork? You can't beat them off with sticks, but when you're dumped fresh and pink and squalling out of a scene with someone, and you go back into the dating pool, you can't get anyone to respond to you no matter how hard you try." Comedian Chris Rock would also discuss this in his stand-up special, Bring the Pain. Women like men that are already in relationships. When you were single, wasn't nobody thinking about your ugly ass. Soon as your woman got a hold of you, she hosed you down, gave you a haircut, cleaned the crust out your eyes, gave you a breath mint. Now everybody wants to fuck you. The words of both Ellison and Rock ring true today, just as they did when they were first spoken or broadcast. Although loneliness affects us all, it seems men are affected by it more so than women. I personally believe that women have it easier in the dating and mating game. All a woman has to do is show up. There are always men looking for a woman. No one is really checking for a man unless he is already established, fresh off the assembly line, as it were. A man is expected to have a good job, the house, and the car. A man is also expected to be the one to make the first move, risking rejection, ridicule, humiliation, and stress. He has to face the stress, the risk, and the drama of dealing with this being called woman. Let me interject at this point that I am not blind to the issues that beset women. I merely bring a male perspective to the table. Remember, no matter how thin you slice it, there are two sides to every story. Since the 1990s, the female perspective has dominated the discourse regarding male-female relations, where it seems every man is the villain. Seemingly, the woman does not have to go through this. Womanhood is automatic. Manhood is not. In The New Male Sexuality by Bernie Zilberg, he writes, "In almost all societies, femininity is given by having the right genitals. Masculinity or manhood is not. It is conditional. It is assumed that girls will grow up to be women simply by getting older, but boys need something special to become men. Thus, most societies have had special rituals, usually difficult and painful, sometimes life-threatening, that boys had to go through before they themselves and the rest of the group considered them to be worthy of the name men. The good thing about these rituals was that once one had navigated his way through them, one's manhood could never be questioned again. Western societies long ago got rid of these rituals, but in the process something valuable was lost and men were left in a perpetual state of anxiety. Now one's manhood is always on the line. One deviant act is all it takes for your manhood to be questioned. Maybe you really aren't good enough or bold enough. Maybe you don't have what it took. This is why men walk the thin line I mentioned earlier. End quote. So, in dealing with those types of things, I just began to think about this during this new year, as the new year rolled in, or according to the Gregorian calendar. Let me clarify that. And I began to just think about people that were lonely, and I began to just think about the fact that even during this time of the year, those issues can come up for a man just on the grounds that he is lonely and doesn't have anyone. Well, YouTube, I do wish you a good year, whether from the Hijri calendar or the Jewish calendar or the Gregorian calendar, even the Chinese calendar. Thank you for tuning in. Take care.